This is everything you need to know about cars, from their shocking origins as steam-powered monsters to the electric revolution transforming our roads today. We're talking about a $2.09 trillion global industry that started with a three-wheeled contraption that could barely outpace a brisk walk. Most people think cars began with Henry Ford, but they'd be completely wrong. The automotive story actually starts in 1649 when Hans Hautsch built a clockwork-driven carriage in Nuremberg. The real breakthrough came in 1769 when French inventor Nicolas-Joseph Cugnot constructed the first steam-powered vehicle capable of human transportation. Picture this beast, a massive heavy tricycle that could carry 4 people at a whopping 2.25 miles per hour for 20 minutes before running out of steam, literally. Here's what'll blow your mind. The first cars weren't even gasoline-powered. Steam and electric vehicles dominated the early roads. In 1881, Gustave Trouvé demonstrated a working electric three-wheeler at the International Exposition of Electricity in Paris. Thomas Parker built an electric car in London in 1884. These weren't experimental toys. They were serious attempts at mechanized transportation that predated the gasoline engine by years. Then came Karl Benz in 1886 with his Patent-Motorwagen, the vehicle most historians consider the first true automobile. This three-wheeled marvel could reach 10 miles per hour, making it faster than anything before it. But here's the kicker. It was Benz's wife Bertha who really proved the car's potential. In 1888, she took the first long-distance automobile journey, driving more than 50 miles from Mannheim to Pforzheim without her husband's knowledge. That trip wasn't just a joyride, it was the world's first automotive road test and marketing campaign rolled into one. The American automotive revolution began with Ransom Olds, who founded Oldsmobile in 1897 and introduced the curved dash Oldsmobile in 1901. But it was Henry Ford who changed everything. When the Ford Motor Company launched in 1903, they sold 1,700 cars in their first year. That same year, William Durant formed what would become General Motors. The real game changer arrived in 1908 with Ford's Model T, nicknamed Tin Lizzie. The Model T wasn't just a car, it was a social revolution on wheels. Initially priced at $850, Ford's assembly line innovations drove the cost down to as low as $260, affordable for average Americans. Over its 19-year production run, Ford built more than 15 million Model Ts, making it the world's most produced car, until the Volkswagen Beetle overtook it in 1972. Ford's moving assembly line, introduced in 1913, didn't just make cars faster to build. It created the template for modern mass production that industries still follow today. Innovation exploded throughout the 20th century. Four-wheel brakes arrived in 1921. Mercedes-Benz introduced independent front suspension in 1931. Nash Motor Company added the first air conditioning in 1939. Volvo installed the first seatbelt in 1958 in Sweden. General Motors fitted the first airbags in 1974. Each advancement made cars safer, more comfortable, and more capable. But let's talk numbers that'll make your head spin. Today, there are 1.4 billion cars on the road worldwide, and that number could hit 2 billion by 2035. In 2024 alone, global car sales reached 74.6 million units. The 2025 forecast predicts 91.7 million light vehicle sales globally, the first year to exceed pre-COVID levels from 2019. Now here's where it gets expensive. The average new car in 2025 costs $48,841, and for the first time ever, the average transaction price hit $50,000 in September 2025. Factor in insurance, maintenance, and fuel, and you're looking at monthly costs exceeding $1,000. A $50,000 vehicle financed over 60 months with 20% down and a 7.12% interest rate means monthly payments around $796. Meanwhile, used cars average $25,600, reflecting lower demand and higher inventory, giving buyers more negotiating power. The automotive industry remains a research and development powerhouse, investing 85 billion euros in 2023, 12 billion euros more than the previous year, and twice as much as the next largest private sector investor. This massive R&D spending is driving the electric vehicle revolution that's reshaping the entire industry. Electric vehicles aren't actually new, They enjoyed popularity in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. What's new is their dramatic resurgence. Global EV sales share reached 25% in the first half of 2025, up from 21% in 2024. China is set to exceed 50% EV market share for the first time in 2025. Norway leads the world with EVs making up an astounding 97% of new car sales in 2025. Vietnam has exploded from near zero to 40% EV sales share, driven by domestic manufacturer VinFast. But the EV story isn't universally rosy. In the United States, EV adoption is stalling at around 8% market share, down from earlier peaks. Battery electric vehicle sales fell to less than 6% monthly market share after tax credits expired. The automotive sector's trust and like score of 63 is the lowest among consumer-facing industries, with consumers prioritizing practical concerns like safety, cost, and reliability over environmental idealism. The current global automotive landscape is dominated by familiar names with some surprising shifts. Toyota Group leads with 12.2% market share, followed by Volkswagen Group at 9.6% and Hyundai Kia at 8%. But in the EV space, Chinese manufacturer BYD dominates with 23% market share, while Tesla holds 10.8%, and Geely Group is rapidly closing the gap at 9.5% share after growing 57.7% in 2025. Chinese automakers are making aggressive moves globally, predicted to double their European market share to 10% by 2030 as they establish local operations. This expansion represents one of the most significant shifts in automotive geography since the Japanese invasion of the 1970s and 1980s. Autonomous driving technology is advancing, but more slowly than early predictions suggested. While we're seeing the first Level 3 systems in 2024, Mercedes S-Class and EQS models, and more than 700,000 fully autonomous robotaxi rides happen weekly globally. Most experts believe Level 2 and Level 2 Plus systems will dominate through 2030. Nearly 100 million ADAS-equipped vehicles are on U.S. roads, with adoption rates exceeding 90% for key safety systems. The environmental impact remains contentious. While manufacturing electric vehicles initially produces more carbon emissions than conventional cars, over their lifetime, EVs generate far lower total emissions even when powered by electricity from fossil fuels. A typical passenger vehicle emits about 4.6 metric tons of carbon dioxide annually. Cars and trucks account for nearly 1/5 of all U.S. emissions, releasing over 23 pounds of carbon dioxide for every gallon of gas burned. Regulatory battles are intensifying. In July 2025, the Trump administration proposed stripping greenhouse gas emission requirements from federal vehicle standards that would have avoided 7 billion tons of emissions over 3 decades. Meanwhile, emerging markets are leapfrogging traditional automotive development, with Thailand exceeding 20% EV share and multiple countries crossing the 50% threshold. Looking ahead, electric vehicles are predicted to account for 45% of the global market by 2030. But challenges remain. Charging infrastructure, battery technology limitations, and consumer adoption rates vary dramatically by region. The automotive industry stands at an inflection point, balancing environmental imperatives with practical consumer needs and geopolitical tensions.